Oh, is anybody home? Oh look, cookies. So when this kid was in school, his parents worked late. So after school, he had to walk home an hour and a half every time his parents worked late. He hated riding the bus, so he said he'd rather walk. So because of this, he would always try to hang out at a friend's house who lived nearby and just get picked up from there later in the night when his parents were off. Well, one day he's walking by that friend's house and he decides to give him a call. No answer, but he remembers where they keep the spare key. For some reason, he can't explain why. He grabs the key and he lets himself in. Starts walking around the house, calling out for his friend. Yo, you home? Hello? Silence. Nobody's there. So he goes to the fridge, makes himself a sandwich, sits down on the couch, and starts watching TV. About 15 minutes in, he realizes, oh my god, I just broke into my friend's house. What am I doing? And it's not just anybody's house. His friend is Russian, and his dad is a scary Russian man who had tons of firearms. He panics, he puts the key back, and he runs out of the house. He gets home safely. His friend calls him back later that day, and he didn't suspect a thing. And he has kept that secret every single day since then. That's crazy. It started as a punishment. This one school made a new rule called silent lunch. No talking, no whispering, no noise. Principal said it was to help students reset their behavior. But it didn't reset anything. It just made kids miserable. Lunch felt like a detention. Everybody just sat there, chewing, in complete silence. Plastic spoons hitting trays, a single juice box slurp from down the way. For this one kid, he had an idea. The next day, he walked in quietly. He opened his lunchbox, and he pressed a button on this little speaker. It was bird sounds. Like the kind you hear in nature. It wasn't music, it was like a calm forest vibe. The teachers looked over, but they didn't say anything. Technically wasn't talking, and it technically wasn't breaking the rules. So he did it again and again. By the end of the week, 3 other kids were bringing in their speakers as well. One kid played rainforest noises, another kid played waterfall sounds. This one dude was playing a recording of whale noises. And the wild part, it worked. The lunchroom got calmer, but not in a weird way. It felt peaceful. Students were sitting in silence, eating to ambient waterfall loops and jungle bird noises. The teachers were like, honestly, this is not bad. People were loving this. The next week, the principal walked in and froze. The lights were dim. Some kid brought a lava lamp. And this lunchroom, this silent lunchroom, had turned into a full-blown spa. He just stood there blinking, smiled to himself, turned around and left. He thought, maybe I actually did something here. This is nice. And no one said a word. You know, that's actually amazing. What kind of club are you running here? The best kind? One day, this one school, this student figured out that you don't need a teacher sponsor to start a club. All you had to do was fill out a form, write a purpose, and show that there was student interest. This one kid, he invented a club that he called the Indoor Nature Appreciation Society. He said it was for students who loved nature but hated going outdoors. He made posters with stock photos of trees and waterfalls. He took fake meeting photos with his friends. He even listed fake officers. President, himself. Vice president, also himself. He submitted the paperwork and nobody questioned it. A week later, the club got approved. A month later, it got funded. A $500 budget. He spent all of this money on snacks, custom t-shirts, a giant banner with a fake logo, and a director's chair for himself for some reason. After a while, the principal pulled him aside and said, "There's no way this is a real club." He just shrugged and said, "I mean, we do appreciate nature, just from a distance." The best part is he would schedule actual events called observation hours. This is where they would drag 5 or more chairs and put it in front of a big window in the library, and they would all just sit there for 45 minutes, looking out the window. Look. A bird. Oh, nice catch. The principal, who was already suspicious, came by. Okay, what exactly is this? Shh! We're appreciating. Yeah, eventually the club got shut down, but the t-shirts, they wore those almost every day for the rest of the year. You canceled my birthday party? For a B+? Actions have consequences. So this one student got a B+ in math. Not too bad, right? Well, not according to his dad. The dad walks into the room holding the kid's report card. A B+? Are you kidding me? Dad, it's still above average. It's a really hard class. Well, it's not good enough. Give me your phone, now. Wait, what? No phone, and I'm canceling your birthday dinner. Yo, are you serious? Dead serious. The next morning, the dad emails the teacher, saying stuff like, "Why didn't you push my child harder? He's clearly capable of more. You're supposed to challenge him, not let him slack off." The teacher writes back, "Your son has the highest grade in class. He's the only one that got above a B. I'm actually very proud of him." His dad is crazy. The kid finds out about this email. He walks up to his dad and says, "So, can I have my phone back now and maybe my birthday?" The dad just stares at him and walks away. Happy birthday to me, I guess. Is that popcorn I smell? Room 114. Bring $1. Garlic cheddar just dropped. So this kid's school had a rule where you couldn't sell anything during school hours or on school grounds. And he wanted to start a business like many people do because it's the frickin' hustle, baby. Well, one year he got some for Christmas. It was a mini popcorn machine. So one day he brought it into school. It wasn't the big carnival one, it was one of those mini ones that you could put on a countertop. Well, on this day, he left it in the back of this empty classroom. The one that nobody used anymore. And he had an extension cord running from the popcorn machine to an outlet. Nobody noticed. And then he made signs to pass out. Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. Room 114. At lunch, he'd leave the door open just enough, so people could smell the popcorn as they were walking towards the room. He had everything. He had cups, he had flavors, cheddar, garlic, ranch, even sweet chili. And what was genius was that he wasn't technically selling anything, so he couldn't really get in trouble. It's just popcorn. I offer it and they donate. Business boomed. He had his friends standing around the hallway and going through the lunchroom telling them that room 14 has free popcorn. He even had Tabasco sauce packets to level it up. And if you guys never put hot sauce in your popcorn, you're severely missing out. It is a snack, I'm telling you. They started calling room 14 the Pop Shack. Now, teachers did start to notice this, mostly because of the smell. Eventually, the principal tracked it down and headed to room 114. What is this? Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. You want some? The vice principal paused. He looked around. There was even a tip jar. He was impressed. Honestly, smells pretty good. Yeah, I'll take a cup of this sweet chili, and then you guys can just carry on. Here's a $5. That was that. They let him keep doing what he was doing. The only rules were this: no smoke, no fire, and no mess. And they had to have a teacher nearby to check in every so often, which they all agreed to. That was very reasonable. And by the end of the year, this kid had earned over $600 in donations. That is legendary behavior. Please, I'll eat anything else, just not this. No, that is your tray, and that is your banana. Eat it. This kid goes to a small private school, the kind where everybody knows everybody, and lunch is always the same. Same trays, same rotations, and the same lunch aides watching over the room. Well, there was this one lunch aide, and for some reason, she did not like this kid at all. She never said it out loud, but you could tell. It was obvious. Other kids could toss their full milk away, leave veggies on their trays, just waste food, but him, for some reason, she watched his tray every single day, making sure he eats every last bit of food on the tray, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. Well, one day the school serves bananas, and this kid hates bananas. Can't stand the smell, he doesn't even like to touch them. He pushes the banana to the side and starts eating the rest of his food, hoping she wouldn't notice because he knows how she is. And here she comes. She stands right next to him and points to his tray. Eat the banana. I don't like bananas. Doesn't matter, you're not getting up till that tray is empty, young man. Can I give it to somebody else, please? No, it's your lunch. You eat what you were served. While everyone else finishes eating, the table clears out, lunch is over, and he's still sitting there just staring at the banana. Eventually, he picks it up, takes one bite, and gags. He tries again, he gags again, and he throws up right there on the table. You're absolutely pathetic. Then she says this: go to class, and next time, don't make such a big scene. That lady is the worst. Does he, ever talk? Nah, not once. All year. So this new kid transfers to the school halfway through the year. Middle school. Kinda tall, quiet, doesn't talk to anybody. At first, people think, well, maybe he's just shy. But then weeks go by, and nothing. Not a word. No volunteering, no answering questions, not even a here during roll call. He does every assignment, he scores high on tests, but still, not a single word. No, it gets to the point where people just stop trying. He's the quiet kid, and that's it. Then one day, it's May. There's a sub in math class. She goes down the roll sheet, gets to his name. Evan. And for the first time all year, he goes, here. The whole room freezes. Did he just... Yep. Out of his... And that's when his cousin, who's been in the same class the entire time, pulls out a crumpled $50 bill out of his backpack and hands it to this kid. Turns out, back in January, they made a deal. Alright, so you're transferring to my school after the holidays. I bet you can't go the rest of the year without saying a word. Well, I bet you I can. They made a frickin' bet. If he had lost the bet, he would have had to eat a raw onion. $50 and his cousin buys him a meal from Cane's. Good deal to me. Where'd he get all this stuff? I don't know. But it's beautiful. So sophomore year of high school, this one kid puts a bin outside the cafeteria. Taped to the side, it says, unofficial lost and found. Nobody thinks much of it, and people start using it. A water bottle here, a hoodie there. Stuff just starts showing up in the bin. And every day, it's empty again. Clean, wiped out. No one knows where the stuff from the previous day went. And no one asked. At first, people think he's just bringing it to the office. Even the teachers were like, "Oh, that's so nice of him. He's helping out the school staff. Here, I found this shoe." But he never actually confirms what he's doing with the stuff. He even moves the bin around. Some days he's outside the library with it. Other days he's by the gym. Sometimes he's spotted walking the hallway alone, picking stuff up like he's actively looking for lost items. And this goes on for 2 years. So, senior year, the last day of school. It's pretty relaxed. People were just wandering the schools. Easy day, it's the last day. Well, there's a paper sign taped to the gym doors. The sign said, "The Hall of the Misplaced." People walk in, they're curious. What is this place? Oh my God. This kid turned the gym into a full-blown museum. Tables, spotlights, handwritten labels, all of the missing stuff displayed. He made sections. The wall of gloves, the charger graveyard. The fact that this dude's been pulling this off for 2 years is insane. At 3:45 that day, he packed up everything and left with the stuff. He didn't even give it back to the people that wanted it back. After he walked out, he was gone. And he didn't even show up to graduation. Honestly, that dude's a legend. This kid got suspended for selling pencil insurance. So this kid, right? He's kind of smart, he's kind of funny. He definitely knows how to game the system. He notices that every day in every class, someone, every single day, asks to borrow a pencil. So he starts offering a deal. $1 pencil insurance covers you for the entire week. If you lose your pencil, boom, he'll replace it. Need an eraser? You're covered. He's got you. It's actually a good deal. It's way cheaper than buying a full pack at the store. And it absolutely blows up. By Thursday of that week, 15 kids are covered on this pencil insurance. He starts giving out policy numbers. He makes sure that he has one of his insurance agents in every classroom that has an insured client. Carries around a binder. He has terms and conditions. One teacher sees all this and says, "Hey, you can't run a business in class. It's not a business, sir. It's insurance." The next week, he starts offering platinum packages. $3 a week gets you mechanical pencils. $5 a week gets you 2 pencils every time you lose or break 1. That's when the admin gets involved. "Are you selling items on school property?" "No, sir. I'm providing peace of mind." They then suspend him for unauthorized commerce. But on his way out of the building, he sees one of his clients. He says to him, "If you need pencils while I'm gone, talk to my cousin. Spread the word." And his cousin, who did go to that same school, took over for him in his absence. That's absolutely awesome. They ever find out who did it? Nope. And it drove him insane. So there's this one principal. Old school. Super strict. Hates nonsense, hates funny business, he's got zero chill. Well, one day he walks into his office, and there's a single crouton sitting on his desk. Dead center. No note, no explanation, just sitting there. He doesn't think too much of it, so he tosses it in the garbage. The next day, another one. Same spot, still no message. Day after that, again. He starts asking around. "All right, who's messing with me? Huh? Who's the crouton person? Huh?" No one knows. So he checks the cameras, but there's no camera inside his office, just the hallway outside of the door. In that hallway, there's tons of kids coming in and out of the office all day. Teachers, office aides, too many faces, there's no way to tell who left it in there. So he tries to stop it. He begins locking the door when he's not there. He still gets a crouton. He moves his desk, still gets a crouton. He leaves a sticky note. "Whoever this is, please stop." The next day, a new crouton, sitting on a napkin that says, "Respectfully." This goes on for months and he never figures it out. Never gets an answer and never catches this crouton person. And then one day, it just stops. Nothing. The desk stays empty. No note, no crumb, no crouton. He retires the next year, but the day he left that job, he put a framed photo on the wall of the crouton sitting on a napkin, and below it, it said, "Unsolved." That picture is still hanging in that office to this day. Oh, say something! You won't, and that's the scary part. So there's this one kid, real quiet. Doesn't talk much in class, doesn't have a crew. Just walks through the day, hoodie up, backpack on, he keeps to himself. And for whatever reason, this other kid keeps trying to start stuff with him. It starts with little jabs, locker shoves, shoulder checks in the hallway. This guy's trying to get a rise out of the quiet kid. But the quiet kid, he never reacts. He never looks mad, he's just always silent. And that keeps making this dude even angrier. He starts saying stuff loudly in the lunchroom. "Yo, hoodie kid thinks he's better than everyone." See, he's too scared to speak. There's a whole week of build-up. People start whispering, "Yo, a fight's happening on Friday." Between who? That big guy Jeff and that kid who never talks. Oh, here we go. And then Friday, passing period, a crowd forms in the hallway. Phone's out, everybody's waiting. The loud kid's already in the circle and he's yelling. And the quiet kid, he just walks in. No expression, no talking, he just drops his backpack on the floor. Oh, you're showing up now, huh? You scared? You scared, man? Quiet kid says nothing. Say something, bro. Still nothing. So the loud kid swings. He misses. And the quiet kid, 1 move. 2 moves. It's over. He picks up his backpack and he walks away. By 7th period, people are calling him Silent Mike. The next day, Silent Mike doesn't talk unless it's important. He once got bumped in the hallway and didn't blink. He never even messed up his hoodie. One teacher goes, "Wait, who's Mike?" The Silent Mike nickname didn't really make sense because kid's real name is Darren. Did you just laugh? Yeah. You need to follow the rules. So this kid gets invited to his friend's house after school. It's his first time ever hanging out outside of class with this person. He gets there, it seems normal, parents seem chill, the living room smells like candles and soup. They all sit down to watch a movie, totally normal. About 10 minutes in, a funny scene happens, like genuinely funny. Oh, you smell like my dad. That's when the friend's mom pauses the movie. She turns to him and she goes, "Excuse me, did you ask me if it was okay to laugh?" The kid kind of sits there blinking. He thinks she's joking. She's not. "I know this is your first time here, so I'll let it slide, but in this house, we don't laugh until someone gives permission. Okay?" He looks at his friend and his friend just nods. The mom adds this: "It just saves us from getting carried away. Laughter leads to chaos." Let's watch the movie. So they just keep watching, and anytime something funny happens, he sits there dead silent, while his friend casually goes, "Requesting laugh? Approved." After that day, he never went back to that friend's house ever again. Good morning, this is Channel 3 School News with your top story. At approximately 9:08 a.m. yesterday, a 6th grade student constructed a fully functional toll booth in the main hallway, using nothing but masking tape, a clipboard, and what seemed to be a strong sense of purpose. Eyewitnesses state the student was wearing sunglasses and would stand there with his hand out, calmly stating, "That's $1 to pass, exact change only." Over the next 12 minutes, multiple students complied. One teacher walked through without paying, and she was booed. It's just, what makes you so special? We're all paying the toll, so should you. So we booed her. By 9:20 a.m., this student had collected $28 in singles and exact change. He offered receipts, he stamped hands. He told students premium passes were coming soon. When asked why he was doing this, this was his reply: "It's a good idea, right?" I just came up with it. I thought there's no way I'm going to get away with this. But I did. As the morning went on, the hallway bottlenecked. The late bell rang. Chaos was beginning to ensue. By 9:26 a.m., administration intervened. The toll booth was dismantled. The tape was peeled and the clipboard was seized. When asked if he had any other things planned in the near future, he responded, "Oh, just you wait." And back to you. Oh, what is that? Oh, that just happens sometimes. Don't worry about it. Okay. This kid's standing in the lunch line. Bored, hungry. Then he sees it. Something's moving by the nachos. It's tiny. It's hard to see, but something is definitely moving by the nachos. He squints and looks a little closer. Tiny legs, tiny wings. Bugs everywhere. But it's just right at the cracks. Like he noticed it, but other people might not have. He pulls out his phone and zooms in. Oh, it's worse than he thought. The next station, the pizza station, same thing. He's zooming in the cracks, and there's just bugs crawling around everywhere. He shows the lunch lady. "Ma'am, we got a situation here." "Oh, that's just the way it is sometimes." "Excuse me?" He's like, "I bet." And he goes to the principal's office. Shows the principal. He looks at the pictures, and the principal's acting kind of suspicious now as well. "Oh, thanks for letting me know. You can delete those pictures now. We're going to take care of this." Kid's like, "You sure, man?" Yeah, it's handled. Appreciate it. Go back to class. Delete them. We're good." Kid nods and he walks out, but he did not delete those pictures at all. That night, he posts the pictures online and he tags the school and the health department. By 7 a.m. the next morning, parents are blowing up the school's phones, emails flying, screenshots posted everywhere. It's a mess. At lunch, the cafeteria is chained off. The health inspector's there. Full-blown investigation. Shortly after that, the principal gets on the loudspeaker. Effective immediately, lunch service is suspended until further notice. And once the health inspector got an even closer look, school had to be shut down for 4 days. Kid's a legend. And to this day, they still call that the Great Cafeteria Shutdown. No one has ever got 100% in my class. Oh yeah? Watch this. So there's this teacher that every single day brags that no one has ever got 100% in my class. My tests are just too hard. You know, and everyone just kind of tunes her out. But this one kid, let's call him Chris. Chris studies like crazy. He wants to prove her wrong, takes every quiz, takes every chance for extra credit. Final exams come, and he's locked in. He's done, turns it in, he's feeling very confident. The next day, the teacher passes out the exams. 98%? Damn, you did good. Almost too good. Were you cheating? I'm just kidding. My tests are hard. No, I mean I should have got 100%. Okay, settle down, alright? I'm serious. Pull out the answer key. See? Look, right there. Wrong and wrong. Chris looks at the 2 questions she marked wrong. Then he looks at her key. One of them is a trick question. The other answer on her key is just flat out wrong. My answer is right, miss. Your key's wrong. No, it's not. That's absolutely impossible. Chris grabs a textbook off her desk. Flips open to the exact page he needs. Slaps it down. Right there. Paragraph 3. She leans over and reads it. Chris just smiles. So do I get my 100 or do you need me to grade the rest of the class as well? She doesn't say a word. She just crosses off the 98% and quickly scribbles 100% on his test. After that day, she never bragged about her tests being hard ever again. Not here to teach. I'm here to keep order. Shut your mouth. There's this substitute, middle school, real power tripping type of guy. Clipboard in one hand, whistle around his neck, looking like he's coaching for the NBA. He walks into class. First thing he says, listen up, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to keep order. The whole class side-eyes each other like, who does this guy think he is? 15 minutes in, he's handing out detentions like he's Oprah. You, detention for talking. You, detention for looking out the window, no daydreaming in this class. You, why are you breathing so funny? You making fun of me? Detention. Kid in the back, let's call him Devin, finally speaks up. Sir, you're here for 45 minutes. Chill. You better watch your tone, young man. Devin leans back in his chair, smiles, and says, bro, you're a spirit Halloween manager with a clipboard. Relax. Oh, yo. The sub's just standing there frozen, clipboard shaking in his hand. Principal hears the chaos and he walks in. Sees the sub standing there red-faced. The sub then starts tearing up and runs out of the classroom. The principal had to finish the class. Okay, what'd you guys say to him? Wasn't even that bad, dude. Bro's just sensitive. Alright, fine. Just open your books. Let's finish the class. The sub never came back to that school. Absolute KO. Water's a reward. You don't just get it because you're thirsty. This house is a desert. At this house, water wasn't a right. It was a privilege. Every day after school, this kid had the same rule. No exceptions. Drop your backpack, sit at the table, and do your homework. No TV, no snacks, no water. His mom would say it every day. Water is a reward, not a right. Well, one day he gets home absolutely dying of thirst. He makes a quiet move towards the kitchen. He almost reaches the faucet. Don't even think about it. She's already standing there, arms crossed. Homework first. So he's at the kitchen table, math textbook open, mouth dry as sandpaper, watching the faucet drip. 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 He finishes his homework, he gives it to her. Messy work. Do it again. Bro almost passed out right there. When he finally earned a glass of water, she handed it to him like a prize at a carnival. Here's your water. You did really good. The next day at school, he took extra water fountain breaks because he never knew how his mom would act when he got home from school. This one house, Wi-Fi didn't belong to the kids. It belonged to her. Every single night at 9 p.m., this kid's mom would walk over to the router, unplug it, and announce, "The internet is closed. See you tomorrow." Didn't matter if you needed the internet for something. She would always unplug it at 9 p.m. Well, one night, this kid is sitting at his kitchen table. He's finishing a huge essay that's due at midnight. The clock says 8:59 p.m. He's typing. He doesn't really notice the time, but he's cooking. He's writing this freaking essay. He's ready to get an A on this thing. 1 minute passes. Boom, it's 9 p.m. What happened? I'm sorry. You had all day to prepare for this. Too bad. This is a huge essay. I'm almost done. I need just 10 more minutes, please. I said you should have planned better, son. Too bad. This kid is absolutely livid. He tries to figure out a way to get Wi-Fi from his neighbor's house or to have someone drive him to a Starbucks or something, but he couldn't figure it out. Well, midnight comes and goes and the essay was never uploaded. And he's worried because if he gets a 0 on this, his grade is going to severely suffer. Well, the next day at school, he tells his teacher what happened, and the teacher looks appalled. Yo, your mom cut the Wi-Fi while you were doing your essay? Yeah. Man, that sucks. Listen, I'll extend your deadline for tonight. You should be able to finish it after school. Oh, totally, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Your mom sounds like a piece of work. Yeah, she is. And that night, he was able to finish it. What a good teacher. Gosh, we made our first $2. No, we actually made $1. We gotta pay the security guard. Here. In some neighborhoods, kids run lemonade stands. You know, cute little summer businesses, 50 cents a cup, smiles all around. Not on this block, though. On this block, you needed protection. Every Saturday in this one neighborhood cul-de-sac area, these kids would all set up their lemonade stands. Some were different. Some had like strawberry lemonade, others had regular lemonade, some was selling like fruit punch. You know, it was a nice little thing that the neighborhood kids were doing. Anyway, they'd be all set up and they're good to go. But then here comes this 8th grader. Bike gloves on, backpack over one shoulder. He pulls up to the first stand. Nice stand he got here. Good traffic spot, nice weather today. Would be a shame if someone knocked it over. The little girl selling lemonade just blinks. She's almost gonna cry. But then her friend says, just give her one of our dollars. Hey, it's just a protection fee, okay? Covers you for the whole day. Accidents happen, you know. Have a good one. And he goes to the next one. You guys paying for protection today? You know, kids are scrambling. They're digging in their shoebox of change. Hands over $1. He nods. Pleasure doing business with you. And just like that, he's off to the next lemonade stand. Kid made $12 in fees that Saturday alone. Now, this guy wouldn't just take the money and leave. And although he came off kind of tough and mean, he actually would stay there all day and watch over these lemonade stands. So I guess they actually were paying for protection. Now, it was a pretty nice neighborhood, so nothing ever actually happened. But, hey, you know, you gotta respect the hustle, I guess. I think the cap fell off the milk. Oh, we always keep it like that. It's so the milk can breathe. I'm not drinking that. It was this dude's first time visiting his friend's house, and everything seemed normal for like 5 seconds, you know. He walks into the kitchen, and he notices that there are no lids on anything. No cap on the milk, no lid on the orange juice. Peanut butter jar open, the soap bottle open. Hey, you guys forgot to put the lids back on, everything. Nah, bro, my mom says lids trap bad energy. Everything's gotta breathe. Even the milk. Especially the milk. He watches in horror as his friend pours himself a glass of milk from the open jug. He sits down for dinner, and he notices this kid's mom is bringing over a jar of spaghetti that's been sitting out on the stove all day without a lid. And earlier in the day, he saw flies around it. She notices this kid's uncomfort. Oh, don't worry, sweetie. This is all still good. It just had to breathe all day. At one point, he looks over to the kitchen counter, and he sees the dog licking the butter that's sitting on the open butter tray. Hey, what? And nobody's saying a word about it. Throughout the entire meal, he's pushing his food around, pretending that he's eating it. But he's not gonna touch this stuff. And everybody else is chowing down like it's a Thanksgiving meal. After that, he always gave an excuse whenever he was invited back to that house. Oh, sorry, my mom said I can't, leave the house on Tuesdays. Because to him, one visit to the no-lid house was enough for a lifetime. Yeah, I agree. You kids need to be more responsible. You first. In this one class, late homework gets you an immediate 0. No excuses, and this teacher was brutal about it too. If you can't turn it in on time, you fail. Life doesn't give you extensions, kids. And the thing is, she assigned homework all the time. You know, every week, new homework, the kids would turn it in, but then, listen to this, but then, nothing. No feedback, no grades, nothing gets returned to them. Well, one day, this kid named Johnny, he kinda snaps. Hey, miss, just wondering, if life doesn't give you extensions, where's all of our graded homework from the last month? Excuse me, I'm very busy, Johnny. I have a life too, you know. Can't believe you. Well, you know what? Maybe you should finish your homework before you hand us out more, you hypocritical... Office? Now. That's fine, but I'm gonna tell Mr. Stevens that he should probably have a look inside your gradebook. Okay, bye. Funny enough, by the next morning, the student portal of that class had been completely updated. She had graded everything. And during class the next day, she changed the late work policy. Are we friends, or am I just your study guide? What? So this girl's like super smart. She's always making group projects super easy. She shares her notes, she always helps her friends study, and she doesn't complain. But one day she noticed something. Nobody texts her unless it's about school. Nobody invites her to anything, nobody asks her how she's doing. Just stuff like, hey, what's the answer to number 4? Can you send me the notes, please? Hey, do you have the homework from yesterday? But then she realized the group chat she's in with all her friends, they only ever talk about the homework. And she finds out that there's a separate group chat that she's not even in. She didn't even get invited to Kayla's birthday party. The next day at lunch, she sits down with her group of friends. She looks them all in the eye and she says, quick question, who here knows my birthday? Or my mom's name? Or my dog's name. Or my middle name. Dead silence. One girl mumbles, "Isn't your birthday, like, December 25th? That's Christmas Day." And no. Oh, I love Christmas. The girl then stands up and says, "Well, you guys can figure out your own homework answers, study help on your own, okay? I'm out and I am done with all of you." Fine, we don't need you. Except they definitely did. After that day, they kept blowing up her phone when they needed homework or test help, and she just ignored it. Screw those friends. She made a new group of friends that actually appreciates her for who she is. Oh, the water fountain smells like a dead animal. Let me see. One time at this one middle school, the janitor was deep cleaning the cafeteria, and I guess he found a dead goldfish, like a full-on carnival prize goldfish floating in the mop bucket. Nobody knows how it got there, and for some reason, I'm not making this up, he shoves the goldfish down the drain of the water fountain. Like, just shoves it, jams it in there, and he just leaves it. And the next day, the water fountain starts spraying water that smells, well, fishy. Smells horrible. Kids are gagging in the hallways. Teachers are covering their mouths walking to class. Yo, what is that smell? The admin of the school think it's a sewage pipe that burst. They call the county. They have someone come out. They shut down half the school by lunchtime. Meanwhile, one sixth grader starts taking empty water bottles and is bottling the water of this fishy fountain. And he starts selling it for $1 a bottle. He's calling it limited edition bottled school water. And kids are buying it just to dare each other to drink it. It was wild. He only made like $10, but still, you gotta respect the hustle on that, I guess. Anyway, they eventually decided to replace every single water fountain in that school. And after some investigating, they found a mushy, nasty, dead goldfish. And they had no idea what happened for the longest time. Until one day, that janitor confessed. That's the craziest story I've ever heard. Right, boys, time to confess your sins. I just want to play Mario Kart. So one time, this kid got invited to a sleepover, and it was pretty normal until bedtime. At exactly 9 p.m., this mom walks into the kid's room with a clipboard. Big smile, and she says, "Okay, boys, time to log your sins for the day." This kid thought she was joking. No. She passes out worksheets to the two kids. The top of the page says daily sin accountability. Bro, what if I didn't sin today? Everybody sins every day. Just think of something. So they're sitting there. This kid's half asleep. His friend is writing very jubilantly, like this is a normal thing for him, because it is. This mom does this to them every night. And he's there just trying to think of what's going on. So he's writing stuff like, took the last Pop-Tart, thought about punching Gavin today, laughed when Gavin fell off the couch. It was a full confession session, and the mom was taking notes. And if you forgot something, she would help you. Did you think anything bad today at all? I am right now. What? Nothing. They weren't allowed to go to bed until the mom was convinced that they had every sin accounted for. The next morning, he woke up and he noticed that the mom had put their sins on the fridge, like a leaderboard. He never went to that house ever again. And honestly, I wouldn't either. That's freaking creepy. No snack, no participation points. But it's my birthday. This one teacher at this one school made a new rule. If your birthday falls on a school day, you have to bring a snack for the entire class. No exceptions. It didn't matter if your family couldn't afford it. It didn't matter if you forgot. If you didn't bring snacks, you would get your participation points docked for the whole week. And the teacher would call you out in front of everybody. So this one kid, Tyler, it's his birthday and it's a Tuesday. He doesn't bring anything. And the teacher just lights him up. Oh, no snacks for your friends, huh, Tyler? How selfish are you? The whole class is just staring at him. Tyler is just sitting there. I didn't even ask to be born. 2 days later, it's this girl Chloe's birthday. She felt bad for Tyler. And she came in that day and she followed the rules. Technically. She walks in with a sandwich bag full of Tic Tacs. 1 Tic Tac for each kid, individually handed out. For my beloved classmates, I brought you all a snack. Enjoy the feast. Class is dying. People are clapping. Teacher's trying to hold it together, but you can see the vein popping in her face. Okay, I see. You're making fun of me. You think this is a joke. It's okay. The whole class just starts mocking this teacher and the rule and praising Chloe for this hilarious kind of stunt she pulled. The teacher just snaps. Fine. You know what? Birthday snacks are canceled. Forgive me for trying to make everyone's birthday a fun time. I honestly can't believe you guys. Get over it. What a wild thing for a teacher to do. It's their birthday, yet they're getting in trouble if they don't bring snacks in. Out of my face. You coming to gym class? Nah, man, I got court. Wait, what? This kid, 7th grade, shows up to school one day in a full-blown suit. Tie, dress shoes, everything. He's carrying a briefcase. Everyone's confused, and he just goes, I got court during gym class today. Turns out, this kid started a full-blown student court system. He printed a summons, he made a self-made courtroom in the corner of the library, and he even made a logo. Every charge was student-related. Chewing annoyingly with your mouth open, cutting the lunch line, stealing pencils, and you could plead guilty or go to trial. State your case. She skipped me in line. Do you have any witnesses? Yes, Your Honor, 5 of them. People start requesting trials for dumb stuff. The teachers hear about it, and they think it's absolutely hilarious. Until one day, this kid was messing around and tried to summon the principal to court. For what? For having a terrible haircut. Yeah, the principal didn't take this very well, and he obviously shut it down right then and there. In total, this kid held 17 court cases. I don't know what he got out of all this, but it's honestly genius. Yes, how are we supposed to know when it's due? You just are, okay? This one teacher was brutal. She wouldn't post due dates for anything. She wouldn't write instructions. She would just say it once out loud and expect you to remember everything. And if you didn't hear it or you missed the information, that sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? One day, she assigns a huge project. She explains it once, she talks fast, there's no visual, no handout. This one kid, he raises his hand. Wait, how are we supposed to, Josh, were you listening? Yeah, but then why are you asking? No one knows when it's due, what it's supposed to look like. It's total confusion. One person thinks he remembers the due date, one person remembers it differently. It's a mess. And from that moment on, Josh decides he's going to record everything this teacher says every single day, without her knowing. 2 weeks later, half the class gets zeros on this other project. There's no excuse for this, you guys. I told you exactly how I wanted it. Josh raises his hand. Actually, you didn't. Excuse me? He takes out his phone, fiddles with his recordings for a second, and then he presses play. It was her whole explanation for this project. It was loud, it didn't make any sense, and she was mumbling for half of it. So basically, it's going to go on a big piece of paper or, like one of those things. And then you're going to make sure that you get everything down from that one, the chapter, I think it was 9. Maybe it's 11. But put it all up. Hey, guys, quiet. All right, that's it. Let's move on. So are we all really getting zeros, or are you going to give us the instructions again? The next day, she handed out a printed rubric for that project, and she gave everyone a second chance to do it. And from that day forward, she always had printed out instructions for every single assignment and project. Yeah, as she should. As your president, I will eat this banana. So this kid, let's call him Luke. He's in 8th grade, 0 political ambition, and 0 cares about school elections. One day after gym, his friend is like, bro, you should run for class president. Why? I don't know, because nobody else is. Turns out, sign-ups were closing that day, and nobody else decided to run. So Luke being Luke, he goes to the front office and he puts his name down. The next day, the announcements come on. Class elections this Friday, we have Luke, just Luke is running for president. And everyone just starts clowning this whole situation. People are making campaign posters. Vote for Luke. Or don't. It doesn't matter. He'll still win. Or Luke 2024. Bare minimum effort. And he's leaning into it. He's wearing a wrinkled suit jacket to school. Making campaign videos of him eating Lunchables in silence. Well, finally election day hits. And obviously Luke is elected to be the class president. And there's a little assembly at the end of the day. Well, Luke walks up to give a victory speech. He walks up to the mic, he's holding a banana like it's a trophy, peels it halfway, and he just starts eating it into the mic. The whole cafeteria is losing it, even the teachers are laughing. The principal's standing there, just trying to act like this is normal. Okay. And just like that, Luke is the official class president. He doesn't even know what his frickin' duties are. Well, the next week, the school council handed him a binder that said, School Student Government Responsibilities. And it was thick, like 3 inches thick. Meetings, proposals, school fundraiser events. Luke just looked at it, and that's when it hit him. He definitely made a massive mistake. This is everything. God. Yo, what's your name? Why? Just answer the question, man. So at this one high school, there's this senior named Jordan. And he's not just popular, he's influential. Like, if he were to wear pajama pants to school one day, the next day, half the school would also be wearing pajama pants. If he calls you something in the hallway, people would hear it, and that's your name now. And he knows that. Hey, your name? Emily? Cool, that'll be $5. What? You can pay me $5, or I pick something else. You'll pick a different name for me, like what? You don't want to find out. At first, people think he's joking, until one poor kid refuses to pay, and is known as Meat Wallet for the rest of the semester. Even the sub called him that one day. After that, everyone started paying. Yo, did you get a name yet? Yeah, I paid him yesterday. I'm Connor now. But your name is Connor. Exactly. Thank God I paid him. By homecoming, he made over $200. One kid's name is still Pockets, and no one knows why. This was a pretty small town school, so that's probably why something like this was flying around. But in the end, he wasn't just selling names. He was selling protection from pure humiliation. Weird hustle, but I respect it. Head up, do you have your nap slip? My what? So this school had a rule. You were not allowed to put your head down on a desk unless your parents signed a literal nap permission form. Like it was a frickin' field trip or something. So this is the type of stuff that would happen. Like one day, this kid named Noah, he got himself a pretty bad headache. He's not faking it, he's not being dramatic, he's just tired and his head is pounding. He lowers his head on his arms for like 2 seconds and the teacher is on him. Hey, head up unless you have the slip. You're kidding me, right? Nope, it's a classroom policy. And for that day, she marked him down as non-participating, and he got a bunch of points taken off. Well, his grade drops, and he's pretty upset by this. This teacher's pretty stubborn, so he's trying to figure out ways to beat her, but he decides ultimately to just follow the rules. He was gonna follow the rules in an awesome way. He went home to his parents, and he had his parents create him a nap participation slip. The slip was laminated, and it had a lanyard around it. So he comes back with that signed, laminated, customizable nap permission slip. Boom, miss. Certified for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, whenever he wanted to put his head down or he wasn't feeling too well, he would just pull out a slip and slam it on the desk. Okay. I got clearance, miss. Super weird rule, super weird teacher, but I guess that kid's a legend. I don't know. Oh, did they lock the vending machine? Yeah, after what happened to Steven. What happened to Steven? So this kid Steven, 7th grader, he's got a total sweet tooth. Well, one day during lunch, he brings like $15 in change, dumps it in the vending machine, and he goes to town. 6 honey buns, 2 Pop-Tarts, and a pack of powdered donuts. Back to back to back to frickin' back. Now, a teacher walks by and says, "Hey, that's a lot of sugar, buddy." It's my money and it's my stomach. 2 periods later, Steven is in PE and he's running laps when suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Hands on knees, face pale, and then he pukes everywhere. Like a full cinnamon glaze explosion all over the gym floor. Janitor shows up unfazed. Because, of course, janitors are frickin' awesome. Well, after that, the principal has a full-on panic attack. The school blames the vending machines. The next morning, padlocks are on both machines, all the snacks have been taken out, and there's a sign there. Until further notice, snacks are suspended. Now kids are furious with Steven, like he's a frickin' honey bun villain. Every time Steven walks down the hallway. "Thanks a lot, Steven. Really could've used a Pop-Tart today, man. Screw you." Tried to apologize, but it was too late. Once the snacks had gone, there was no coming back. Poor kid. I ate half my meatloaf, but she said it wasn't enough. So one day this kid goes through the lunch line. He gets his lunch tray, meatloaf, peas, chocolate milk, all that stuff, which meatloaf for lunch is crazy, but anyway. He eats a little bit of it. Obviously it's not that great, so he throws it in the garbage. But a lunch monitor sees this happen and walks over, like she caught him shoplifting. "You're wasting school resources. If you're not gonna eat, don't take food." I wasn't hungry." "Well, next time you're eating alone." She writes him up on the spot, and the next day he has lunch detention. He walks in expecting to be alone, but there's another kid already sitting there. Very similar story. He didn't finish his corn and got written up by the same lunch monitor. Both of them go home that day and tell their parents. And the parents, they do not take this lightly. Calls get made, emails are sent. Apparently, this lunch monitor has been doing this all year, punishing kids for not cleaning their trays, for not eating every last bite. By the end of the week, she is pulled from the lunchroom. Next week, there's another lady taking her spot. New lunch monitor and a totally better vibe. From then on, if you weren't hungry, you could just throw your food out. What a concept. That lady's insane. Minus? That's just a B in a tuxedo. Oh, what? So this kid turns in an essay. He gets it back a few days later. A minus. Solid, clean grade. He's feeling good until he gets in the car and shows his mom. Why is it not an A plus? I don't know. It's still an A. An A minus is just a fancy B. You're rewriting it. So that night, he rewrites the entire thing. Adds more quotes, changes the intro, tightens everything up. Next day, he turns it in again. The teacher's confused, but she said she'll take a look at it. 2 days later, the same result. Still an A minus. He shows his mom. "You are doing it again." "You're joking, right?" "Not until you get 100. Fix your tone, fix your grammar, and fix your mindset." He rewrites it again, turns it in. This is the 3rd version. And the teacher pulls him aside. "Hey, why do you keep resubmitting this? Your paper was excellent." "I know. I'm just trying to survive, ma'am." She gives him the exact same grade, A minus again. He turns it into his mom. She just sighs and says, "I give up. You must have done something wrong." And that's the day he learned. Sometimes it's not about the grade. It's about your mom's permanent disappointment. Poor kid. I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. So one day in class, two kids are in the back of the classroom and they're whispering to each other. I told my cat that she's so funny when she does that. Dude, I have so much milk left over from last night. Suddenly, the teacher slams her hand on the desk and says, Jason, that's enough. The whole class freezes. But here's the thing, Jason wasn't even talking. He's sitting there mid-pencil stroke like, huh? I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. Now, a bunch of people saw who was actually whispering, but nobody said a word. Well, Jason takes the L in silence. The next day, there are some class presentations. Well, Jason walks up, he connects his slideshow, and slide 1 appears on the projector. The danger of classroom injustice. Oh boy, here we go. Then Jason starts reading from a flashcard. Let the record show, yesterday I was falsely accused of whispering. I was not whispering. I was taking notes. I was the victim. Slide 2. Confirmed witnesses. He lists 3 classmates, first and last names, alphabetical order. Next slide. Actual culprits. The final slide. And all I ask is for truth to matter again. Boom, presentation done. He gets a standing ovation. Even the teacher's smiling and laughing, and he gets a B+ on that assignment. The teacher then apologizes for accusing him of something he did not do. Respect. You wrote her up for being sad. She was off task. She was human. You should try it sometime. So this girl's having a rough week. Family stuff, friend drama, just life. She sits down in third period. Math class. Doesn't say a word. Just starts doing her warm-up problems. But tears are falling from her eyes. Quiet and soft. The teacher then walks over to her. Hi. Do you need to go to the nurse? Or are you going to disrupt my class all period? The girl doesn't respond. She just wipes her face and keeps writing. All right, disruption it is. She writes her up. A full-blown referral. Disruption to learning environment. Ignoring teacher. She then sent her out into the hallway. Not the counselor, not the nurse, to the hallway. And told her to stay there. Later, she shows her mom the slip. Oh my god, sweetie, this is not okay. They punished you for having feelings? The next morning, the mom shows up to the front office. She then walks to the classroom. Class has already started. The teacher looks up. Oh, so crying is disruptive now? You ever heard of empathy, or did they leave that out of your training? This isn't the time or the place. No, I think it is. You humiliated my daughter for feeling something, and you made it public when you wrote her up in front of the entire class. The students are dead silent. Some of them on the edge of their seat like they're watching a frickin' courtroom drama. Print a new referral. This time with your name on it. Come on, sweetie, let's go. And she takes her daughter home for the rest of the day. Please tell me y'all don't have teachers like this, because that's messed up. Wait, forks cost money now? Yeah, and Isaiah's making a fortune off of it. So here's what happened. At this one school, it was a pretty small school. In their lunchroom, they used real forks. Well, these forks started to go missing. Like every day, kids are accidentally tossing them out, leaving them on the ground, or straight up taking them home. Finally, the lunch lady snaps. That's it, new rule. Forks cost 50 cents. If you want one, you pay, and you better return it. Basically, it's a rental fee for your fork. Well, this kid named Isaiah, he sees an opportunity. The next day, he pulls up to lunch with a backpack full of Costco plastic forks. One fork, 25 cents. 2 for 40 cents. Tell your friends. It spreads fast. He's got bundles, different colors, custom sizes, some with graphics on them that he calls limited edition. Yo, let me get 2 SpongeBob forks for my ravioli. Say less. The cafeteria staff notices this, and the principal steps in. Are you running an unauthorized utensil ring in my cafeteria? Well, sir, I'm just providing students with a better utensil option. I'm making pretty good money, too. He gets written up, they confiscate his inventory, and by Friday, the cafeteria stops charging for forks. But that never actually fixed the problem, because kids were still taking these forks home or accidentally throwing them away. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? You're all just gonna roast me? It's called growth, sweetie. This one mom had a rule for birthdays. No cake, no presents, not until after the truth session. Every year, the birthday kid had to sit in the middle of the living room, while each family member, siblings, parents, sometimes even grandma, went around and shared one thing they did not like about the birthday kid. You interrupt too much. You always finish the milk and leave the carton in the fridge. I hate you, grandson. It was a roast, but it wasn't funny. One year, this kid Daniel, he turned 11. He walked into the living room already nervous. All right, let's begin. First up was his little sister. You yelled at me when I was on your Minecraft world. Then his mom. You've gotten lazy with your posture this year. Then Dad. You've been selfish lately, son. Just think about that. Daniel's eyes start to water. Oh no, don't cry. This is to help you, not to hurt you. You may have your cake now. Go. And he barely touched the cake. The next year, Daniel pretended to be sick on his birthday to try to get out of this whole thing. But the mom just moved the truth session to his room, and they did it bedside. They said it was character building. He said it was the worst tradition of his life. Why is Tyler working in the hallway? Because democracy is brutal. So this one teacher had a rough week. The class was loud all week, no one listened to her, it was a total chaos week. Friday comes around and instead of teaching, she says, "Clearly something's wrong with this class dynamic, so let's fix it." She pulls out a stack of paper slips, passes them around, and says, "I want each of you to write down the name of the student that you think is holding back this class. Be honest." Kids start looking around. They're confused. And don't worry, this will be anonymous. They all write quietly. Slip by slip, she collects them, throws them into a box. Then she starts reading them out loud. Tyler, Tyler, Tyler. Sometimes Emma, but mostly Tyler. Tyler again. By the 10th one, Tyler's head is just on his desk. He can't believe this. Well, Tyler, it looks like your classmates think you're the issue. You have anything to say to that? He doesn't. Okay, so Monday you'll be sitting in the hallway during class, doing solo work until further notice, and the rest of the class just stared at him because Tyler had been quite literally democratically voted out of the class. That is actually insane. What is this? Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. So this one teacher, she always had a little black notebook on her desk, said it was for classroom notes. Everybody assumed it meant grades or it was like a behavior log. No one thought twice, but it wasn't that. It was a burn book, straight up page after page, trashing her students, all by name. One kid was labeled future con artist. One was 5th period manipulator, crybaby. One entry said, can't read social cues. Parents are either clueless or stupid. Like real crazy stuff. And nobody knew until parent-teacher conferences. One mom is sitting down at this teacher's desk for the meeting. The teacher had been flipping through some papers before and left the tiny little notebook open without even realizing it. She gets up and she says, "One second, I think I left your son's quiz folder in the copy room. I'll be right back." She leaves. The mom's sitting there, waiting. She glances at the teacher's desk, and she sees her kid's name at the top of a page of a tiny notebook. Manipulative, fake with adults, should be bullied, total snake? What is this? She flips a page. Another student. Then another, then another. Just tons of students being roasted in this little notebook by the teacher. She goes to the hallway and flags the parents in who are waiting for their time slot for the conference. By the time the teacher walks back in, all these parents are huddled around her desk reading this little black notebook. She was caught, red frickin' handed. All the teacher could say was this: conferences are over. She grabs a little notebook, puts it in her purse, and she leaves the room. And suddenly that teacher is on leave. And she's the stupid one, because the moment you write stuff down like that, you better be prepared for somebody to read it. And they did. That's nuts. Participation is 40% of your grade. This teacher had one rule. If you didn't speak out loud during class, in every class, you would lose points. Didn't matter if you turned in everything. Didn't matter if you tried. If you didn't raise your hand and talk, she would dock you. And one kid, let's call him Aaron, he was trying. He had anxiety. He hated talking in class, but he tried. "Miss, I know I don't talk much, but I listen and I do the work and I work hard." "Well, that's not how life works, Aaron. If you want a grade, you gotta speak up." Aaron didn't like this, so he started tracking everything. Every time he raised his hand, he wrote it down. Every time he raised his hand and got skipped, he wrote that down. Every time the same 3 loud kids dominate every conversation, he wrote that down as well. Everything was getting documented by Aaron. Well, grades are updated, and his is a C. The reason? Non-participation. The next day, he stays after class. "Hey, I saw my grade." "You need to speak more, Aaron, I told you." "Well, you need to stop ignoring me, or fix your rule, because look at this." He drops a folder on her desk. Pages, timestamps, dates, secret selfies of him actually raising his hand. "You say it's about participation, but I've been trying. I've been participating. This system doesn't make any sense. There are days where you just don't call on me." "You can go." And he leaves. He thought that he got nowhere with that. But the next week, his grade was silently changed to an A. I think he actually got to that teacher. Because honestly, when I was in school, I hated that type of rule as well. People learn differently, and people participate differently. You gotta respect all of it. Gonna regret this. Get out of my class. So this kid sprains his leg during soccer practice. Doctor gives him crutches, a note, clear instructions. But his teacher? She never liked him. She thinks he's dramatic, thinks he's lazy. He walks into class on crutches, and she just stares at him. "You don't need those. Stop milking it." He tries to explain, but she just cuts him off. "If you want attention, do it on your own time. Give me those." She takes his crutches and locks them into a cabinet. He stares at her, calm, and just says, "You're gonna regret this." And for the rest of the day, he walks all day on his hurt leg. He doesn't ask for help. He's not complaining. He's limping. He winces, but he keeps moving. Well, that night, his leg is on fire. The next morning, he's back at the doctor. It's worse now. He has a hairline fracture because he was walking on it so much because the teacher took his crutches. Oh, it's about to get bad for this teacher. The next morning, he walks into class again with crutches, a medical boot now, and another doctor's note. He doesn't sit. He doesn't yell. Just stands in front of the whole class and says, "So I watched the rest of the day like you told me to?" Well, turns out that refractured my injury. I'll be on crutches another 6 weeks now, so thank you for that. The whole class is silent. She tries to speak, but the door opens and the principal walks in. "Hi, Miss Harding. I need to speak with you. Please bring your things." She freezes. Then she grabs her stuff and heads towards the hallway. And she walks out. She doesn't come back the next day. Or the day after that. She was fired. Karma's up. Punched the teacher. Why? To get out of a quiz. So there was this one history teacher, ex-military, dude was jacked. He biked 10 miles to school every morning, kept an ab roller in the corner of the room, ate beans and spinach for lunch. Dude was built like a protein bar. One day he gives the class a pop quiz. Groans everywhere. That's when Jeff, the biggest kid in class, he was a football lineman, literal boulder with a backpack, he raises his hand. "If I can punch you in the stomach and make you flinch, can we all get 100s on the pop quiz?" Room goes silent, the teacher's staring at him, and he nods. Deal. He stands up, folds his arms behind his back, everyone gets out of the way. Jeff steps forward, winds up, and absolutely drills the teacher in the stomach. The teacher doesn't flinch, doesn't move, he just breathes and says, "Quiz stays. Take your seat, everybody." And that was it. Jeff became the kid that punched the teacher, and the teacher became the guy you never mess with. When I go to the bathroom, you know the rules. This teacher had the worst bathroom policy ever. You weren't allowed to just ask. If you had to go, you had to stand up, walk to the front of the room, and explain why you deserved to go to the bathroom. Those were her words, deserved. She said it was about building confidence and reclaiming classroom trust. Mostly, she just didn't believe students were telling the truth. I've seen too many kids abuse the bathroom. If you really have to go, prove it. And so one day, this kid raises his hand. Usually, he avoids asking this teacher to use the bathroom because he just doesn't want to deal with all this. And during this class, he held it in as long as he could, but he really had to frickin' go. So he asks, "Miss, can I go to the bathroom, please?" "You're gonna have to convince me. I'm not playing with you right now, miss. Can I please just go to the bathroom? I have to go so bad." "You know the rules. Get up here and explain why you should go to the bathroom." "Okay, fine. Can I do a visual demonstration?" "Whatever it takes." And yeah, by visual demonstration, that's exactly what he meant. "This is your fault." He goes in his pants right then and right there. And the teacher, get this, she gets angry and sends him to the office. "Go to the office. Now." He goes to the office and explains to the principal what had happened. And the principal did not take this lightly. Instead of seeing a kid disobeying a teacher's rule, he sees a teacher refusing to let students use the bathroom when they have to. After that day, in that class, if you had to use the bathroom, you were just allowed to go. And the principal gave that teacher her last warning. Yeah, she sounds horrible. "What's going on back there? Call a priest!" This happened in elementary school. There were two sisters that lived at the top of a very steep hill. And I mean super steep, winding hill. Them at the top. And every morning, the school bus had to climb all the way to the top just to get them. But one morning, one of the sisters gets...
আরে তুমি ওর সাথে এভাবে কথা বলছো কেন? ও যদি শুভর সাথে ভালো থাকে থাক না।
আমি ভাবছিলাম তুই ভালো হয়ে যাবি, কিন্তু তুই মাল কোনোদিন ভালোই হবি না। যে খারাপ তারে ভালো বানানো যায়, আর যে চাই বুঝাচ্ছি বিপরীতে কাছাকাছি সময় রং হয় বিলীন।
কোনো টেনশন করেন না, আপনাকে আমি বেশিক্ষণ রাখবো না, ধরেন 3-4 ঘন্টা হয়তো।
মা এক সেকেন্ড দাঁড়াও, ফোন দিচ্ছি।
আমরা তো কিছুই জানি না কি সমস্যা, শুধু শুধু ছেলেটাকে এইভাবে বলো না তো।
তুমি চুপ করো।
আবেগ হচ্ছে করুণ শহর
পারবে না,
বিশ্বাস করো আমি আর কখনোই যাব না। আমি কেন ডিভোর্স নেব? 15 লক্ষ টাকা মানে কি তুমি
মায়ার বাঁধনে বেঁধেছি মন ভালোবাসা
ঝামেলা শেষ করো। আরে ভাই সাইন করো।
এটাও কিন্তু ইম্পর্টেন্ট। মানে ভালোবাসা হচ্ছে একজন আরেকজনের উপর ভরসা করে।
জানি আপনি স্টকের ব্যবসা করেন, সিন্ডিকেট কইরা
এর মধ্যে ওর প্রেমে পাগল হয়ে যাব। আচ্ছা তুই বল এটা কি সম্ভব? কেন সম্ভব?
ভাই আপনার জেল খাটাইছে ভাই, আমার বুকটা ফাইটে গেছে, আমি 3 দিন ঘুমাইনি, কষ্ট, আমার বুকটা ফাইটে গেছে, আমি অনেক কষ্ট।
শ্বশুর আর তানিয়া আমার বউ, আমি যদি তগো এলা তানিয়ার চেয়ে কম হইবা কেন? তুমি তানিয়ার চেয়ে বেশি সুন্দরী। আরে কিন্তু আমার আব্বাস সাহেব তোর আত্মীয় লাগে। এখন তুই যদি আমার শ্বশুর এলাকার ভাবি, বড় ভাবি, তোরা সবাই এগো ফ্যামিলির। তানিয়া, আমার তো মনে হয় তুমি 3 দিনের দিন
আল্লাহ জানে কি শুধু এটা
এই রিকশা
এই ঘটনা ইতিহাস হয়ে থাকবো যে সেলিম ভাই ভালো।
আরে জুলি গেছে বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে, বুঝছো?
মিনিমাম 1700 লাইন কবিতা লাগবো। তুই 700 লিখবি।
পাচ্ছিল এইতেছি।
আমি তোমার ভালোবাসতে পারলাম না। তুমি অনেক ভালো।
আর রিকোয়েস্ট করছে, এতবার বলছে আমি তো বাধ্য হইছি।
ফাইন ভাই
কষ্ট যাবে কিসের কিসের গল্প ছাড়া পাবে কিসের কষ্ট
না
বাচ্চা, এটা তো আর আমার একার ডিসিশন না। এখানে শুভ কি চাই, ওর ফিউচার পরিকল্পনা কি। লাভ ইউ, রাখছি। রেফার করেন।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তুমি প্যারা নিও না, হয়ে যাবে।
জি জি অবশ্যই, ঠিক আছে, ফোন দিন। হ্যাঁ,
কয়েকটা জায়গায় ইন্টারভিউ দিছো, তারাও জিজ্ঞেস করছে যে তুমি কতটা ইন্টারেস্টেড। এখন এই নিস্তব্ধতা কার না ভালো লাগে?
অনেক প্যারা দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, সরি।
আরে প্যারা নাই, এখন ঠিকঠাক ঘুম ঠিকঠাক হচ্ছে?
ভালোবাসি তোমায় অন্তর
আচ্ছা কথা বলো,